You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the April 25th, 2023 meeting of the LaPorte County Regional Sewer District Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, I'm calling the meeting of the LaPorte County Regional Sewer and Water District for April 25th, 2023 to order. Let's salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Here.
Is your mic on, John? Yeah.
Sure is.
Okay. Oh.
We need to work with the commissioners on making this all wireless.
Yeah.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. John Carr,
Here.
Marcella Kunstig,
Here.
Jerry Jackson, not here. Mitch Bishop,
Here.
Delia Segas,
Present.
Mark Danielson,
Present.
Amanda Laners, here.
Okay, minutes from March 28th, 2023. They are attached to our packet. Everybody have a chance to look at them?
Yes.
And we got Jerry coming in now.
There he is.
Here,
Let's go down there.
get that way.
Thank you.
Hi, Jerry.
Okay, what's your pleasure on the minutes?
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for March 28th, 2023. Any questions on the motion? Proceed to vote. All in favor signify by the word aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Public comment. Anyone wishing to speak needs to state their name and address for the record, and we'll have 3 minutes to speak. Do we have anybody in person for public comment?
Denise Hauk, 108 West Mechanic Street. I spoke with Jennifer briefly and Dan Byam about my property. The clean out is not deep enough for gravity flow, and I was looking to see if I could move it to another location.
Okay.
To give you a little background information here, apparently it looks like she could have some options. She wanted to run it out the back. However, there is no connection there, so that would be a little bit costly. She'd have to get all that pipe put in, and then also have a highway permit and different stuff. And we kind of discussed with her the possibility of just putting an ejector pit in her home to get it to the gravity connection. There was no information or communication during any of the paperwork phase, and so we had nothing to go by, and nothing during construction. So unfortunately, we.
Yeah.
After the fact, unfortunately.
A lot of times I was at work, so it's by the time I get off work, everything's closed or whatever. So
What was the address again?
108 West Mechanic in Rolling Prairie.
So that is really our best suggestion, unless she wants to go and get quotes for, putting it down the alleyway and all that. But upfront cost, that is going to be the cheapest at this point, is what,
Put an ejector pit in?
right, into her home.
Because otherwise she'd have to extend the lateral through her backyard, through the easement, or through the alleyway right of way, and core and through the manhole that's down
Man,
there, which is
That's
going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's been really difficult because my husband passed away, so I'm a widow and trying to do everything by myself.
Right.
So,
Understand.
yeah.
She is eligible for the $1,000 reimbursement. She is in phase 2, so that would help offset some of the cost.
Have you received any quotes for an ejector pit?
Not for the ejector pit, no.
A contractor just told her it wasn't gravity fed, but I think at this point they have to look at other options, and that's one of them.
About 10 or 12,000 for an ejector pit.
Is it really?
In the home?
Whoa.
Then what you do, if you're putting a grinder pump outside, that's about what it costs.
No.
Do something in the basement, you can save, make it a little cheaper.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Jerry. Doing in something inside the home in the basement.
Yeah, you might get by for 5.
1,000?
I changed mine a couple months ago, and it was less than $1,000 for all the
Yeah,
parts.
so is mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
we just
Yeah,
pump.
we're
Yeah.
talking about starting from scratch and putting a pipe outside. Power supply.
So did I in a full basement at my home, and it was just an additional like 800.
yeah.
And a
that-
guy from another company that I just talked to the other day had the same thing, and he just put in a pump, and it was under 1,000
Okay.
because he has the same issue.
We do this all the time.
All right.
So
So
get some quotes. You'll
we can work with her directly through you.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to
Thank
do.
you.
Yeah.
And then is there a way to extend the deadline so I don't get penalized? And
I think the board's going to discuss that under one of our.
Yeah, we've extended it
Okay.
probably, 6 times already?
yeah,
Well, it's another couple months, right?
Right, right.
Why even have a deadline anymore?
property taxes are coming up this month,
Yeah, that's
next
true.
month. So
I do
there's a
have
lot
some
of-
numbers of where we stand that I figured out, and how many we have left. And I have been getting a rush of people contacting me, and there are, I think, probably 4, 5, 6 right now in the process of getting connected.
Okay. Excuse me, ma'am. What did you say your name was? I'm sorry.
Denise Haug.
Denise?
I got it.
Okay.
Here.
We'll
Jennifer-
follow up with you. Thank you for coming and making your comment. We'll do
Thank
what
you.
we can to help you out.
Thank you very much.
Jennifer, is there any way we can get her the information of the contractors that you've dealt with or somebody else has dealt with about, like names and numbers for that ejector?
I think Peggy
She has
has
some-
one. I think
Okay.
she's already dealing with one of them.
That's a fun job.
Thank you.
Fine, please. But how now?
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Unfortunately, a lot of them are already done out of that area, but some of them are. We'll get you
Thank you.
information.
Thank you.
Just outside of the one, too.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Anybody else under public comment? Anybody on Zoom for public comment?
No, I think that's just this.
Okay, nobody on Zoom for public comment? Okay, moving on. Report, Steve Carter. Looks like he's absent.
Steve is
Fine.
out of town. I
Oh.
don't see him on. He wasn't sure if he could make it or not, so I'll try to go through this the best I can for you. I guess first page is the Hudson Saugony account, wherein you got interest of looks like 11,853.88, and year to date 12,184.96. Ending cash balance 3,209,811.13. Then Rolling Prairie. Looks like beginning balance of 29,968. We had some user fees and interest income. Bond proceeds, I am guessing that is what came in from the first round from SRF that I filed for the reimbursement payments for all the payments that we've been paying out. Looks like we must have got that in because that was the first amount I sent out. Disbursements looks like 7,900 in operating. Loan principal 1830, and then we got some transfers and deposits. Toll road, Horizon checking. Looks like there was no receipts this month. Interest income 276.40. Disbursements and operating 20,514. And then we got the Hoosier Improvement Fund. Made some interest of over 1,200. And then it looks like, I think Steve already talked to you guys about, or sent an email, I think we'll discuss that later, about where some money was transferred from not correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, $75,000 transfer and all that. Yeah, and so I guess if you have any questions, which I hope you don't because I'm not sure.
Thanks, Jennifer.
And then,
Claims.
do you have questions?
Any questions on that?
I think you just need to make sure you review and approve the claims.
Right, we're gonna do that next. I was just waiting.
Okay.
Okay, claims, total $60,585.95. We didn't have a lot of the Indiana Michigan Power bills in, so Steve estimated a lot of those for this month, so we can send out a payment. Other than that, we had the asset management plan that was done for Hudson Saugony bills. Other than that, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
Okay, then I guess we need to,
Motion, entertain a motion.
Motion to approve, sorry.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Are there any questions on the motion? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Asbury?
Hi, this is, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, thank you.
I really don't have anything of substance. One thing that we do have coming up here in the beginning of May is we're going to be contracting a sludge hauler to do biannual hauling of sludge. Other than that, everything is good.
All right.
Pretty easy. Okay, anything else? Any questions for Chris? Okay, moving on, JPR.
billing report, collections and liens, really nothing new other than what's already in your report. Everything is going as indicated. If you have any questions.
I do not believe so.
So are we under the property owner reimbursement, customer connection reimbursement program?
Yeah. We're right there. That's where we needed to probably discuss if we want to extend this deadline and what we want to do.
How many?
Yeah, do we know how many connections we have versus non-connections?
Yeah. It looks as though when I went through, it looks like we have approximately 24 that are not connected for phase one. And like I said, I know that there's at least one person that's in phase one that I was talking to that's working on getting connected. And then we have about 27, I believe, that are not connected for phase two. And I processed 2 that came to the office last week just to pay for their permit and get their work done. And I've talked to probably 3 or 4 at least more people that are working on getting their paperwork and their contractor and trying to get it done.
So Okay.
What's the expiration? What was our newest, greatest date?
May 1st was our last date, and then 60 days from that was our date for our connection reimbursement.
Okay. Do we know how many, so if there's roughly 27 that are not, how many does that make that are connected?
Let's see,
90?
117 connections in phase two.
that's phase two. Phase two.
Low progression. 90 plus, what did you say the total for phase one was?
Well, there,
25, I thought, that weren't connected.
I have a total of around 185-ish customers, I believe.
Both phases?
Yes.
So we got
So-
50, 52 that
Yeah.
are connected out of both phases?
Yeah. Somewhere around there. Yeah, approximately.
So are they being billed every month?
Oh, yes, they're billed. And some of them have liens on them because we haven't gotten payment, and
Some are paying and just,
some are paying and not connected. I mean, I would have to go back and look at the history for each one of them. But you can see on the, in my report, in the last page is the
liens and all that.
the balance of every account, because I put that in there, and that will tell you and show you kind of which accounts are paying and which ones are not. So they're getting charged full rates, even if they're not connected or not. And if they haven't paid anything, they've already gotten a lien on their property, and they're still getting billed now going forward. So they're either choosing to ignore it, or they're just not going to do it, or there's something else going on that we don't know about.
So with all those connections in phase two, then that tells me that there's possibly several that just did it on their own without any kind of an assistance from us?
What do you mean assistance?
Well, it sounded like there was the reimbursement
Yeah.
without even taking the reimbursement.
Oh, no, I think pretty much all of them did. I just have more that I have to process through SRF. You've already paid. You've paid out about 65 accounts.
65 of them?
Yeah, yeah,
All right, so that's more than,
yeah. We've only got reimbursed from the state, the 40 that I saw back yet.
okay. So we just have to decide if we're gonna stick with the deadline or maybe bump it out, kick the can down the road.
Yep, that's kind of the question.
What do you guys feel? You're working with several right now to go through the process?
It's been this May 1st deadline, and I think the break of the weather, maybe tax returns, different things coming in. People are starting to jump on trying to maybe meet this deadline. I'm not sure.
Jennifer, could you remind me of how many times we've already postponed this?
Oh, I would love to if I could remember.
Is this, have we done
I
it 6
think
months?
3 or 4 we've extended it, maybe.
Let's say 4 or 5.
4 or 5? Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we get that on the record.
We still have a generous balance, or not generous, but we still have a balance, right, that we can give out to the people that are coming forward.
We have what's left. I
What's
mean,
left.
that we've it's reserved.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like it's gonna go up or down. It's there.
Right.
It's allocated.
There's enough to cover the remaining people that haven't.
Yeah.
hooked up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
sure.
there if they get connected.
Can she do it in 30 days?
No.
Really?
I think I'd be in favor possibly the latest and best and last extension. I mean, maybe like
Famous
yeah,
last
we really be this time. Like this give them like an extra month or 2 at the most, and then this be done because
But as long as
they're
they,
showing progress. They are
And
showing
Dan, we're not into any limit in terms of the project itself. Like it's got to be wrapped
No.
up by X. Okay.
No.
anything.
Yeah.
It's gonna
So,
be.
so Mitch, what's your thought process? 1 month, couple months?
Let's go to
We might as well
we
do
extended it. We
2.
extended so much, but I think this has to be it though. I don't think. I mean, how many
I think we
times?
just say with 2 more.
August 1st. I mean, that's another 60 days.
Yeah.
June, July,
They don't.
August 1st,
They
or
start the process by August 1st and they have another 60 days, right?
well, we can do it however we want. We could do it 30 days.
Yeah.
So that we're not gonna keep extending it. You gotta get connected by August 1st, and then you have 30 days to get me that paperwork and get it processed.
Okay.
And we don't have to extend it another 60 days. We could just do the paperwork. I mean, they should be able to easily do that. I'm making it available by scanning. I have the permits, I have the inspection paperwork. All they need to fill out is the initial paperwork and get me their paid invoice. So they don't have a lot that they have to do on their end.
Should we send a notice out to the 27 that have not connected?
Yeah.
I think so. Why not? I mean, I think it's,
Red paper.
Red pen.
Okay.
It's like what you're.
I mean, only other thing is if we send it regular and try to send it certified so that they know. I mean, it's going to be more expensive and timely, but we've done everything else. We've sent so many mailings.
I don't want to do like
We're only sending.
In my experience as a lawyer who
I know.
sends certified mail all the time, as time goes on, nobody claims certified letters.
I agree.
We always send certified and regular, knowing, ironically, that no one's going to pick up the certified.
That's why I
Because
said
it's never
both.
good news. I mean, it is. I mean,
Good point.
well, I mean, it is. Sometimes it is, but I mean, people get that
Yeah.
notice, and it's got a.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just us. Maybe they get a lawyer's
I get
letterhead
it.
and they think,
Yeah.
"No way, I'm
It's just a
getting that letter."
thought, so.
Get that giant
I don't think, as long as we don't have any downside of letting the time go by, I'd say let's be generous with the
Yeah.
time. I mean, if it's not causing any administrative problems or anything like that, but maybe send them another letter reminding them
Yeah.
that,
Could
that
put
this
the
is
notice
time to do
in
that,
the
get
bill.
this done, here's how you do
I
it.
think that's a great idea. The question
notice
is,
you have
how
to go
much
to
longer do
everybody.
we do
We
it?
can put,
Okay.
we can put a statement on the bill stating such, but that would go to everybody.
I got you.
Yeah.
So am I hearing a motion of doing it 60 days? And then from that point, they have 30 days to
Yeah.
then,
You just made that motion.
I'm
I
making,
second it.
And I would phrase it with a real date too, Mark, just so everybody's on.
That's the final.
So
Connection,
What's
August
the end of the
1st.
connection date? What's the end of the reimbursement program?
absolutely.
So, Mark, you want to rephrase that?
August 1st connection.
Or
I make a
Oh, that
motion,
would,
be July 1st.
okay. So when do you want the,
I make a motion that from a date from 60 days from May 1st,
okay, so that would be July 1st. Let's just go with the 1st, if we can, if you guys are fine with that. So,
you have 30 days from July 1st to get all the paperwork in.
and then until, let's just make it another,
August 1st.
August 1st.
and then until August 1st for reimbursement paperwork.
With sending out specific dates to the individuals that have not done this.
You mean sending out a letter?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want that part in your motion too? Or just, we're good?
Just do it.
All right. So what we have, Mark made a motion to extend the deadline to July 1st with an additional 30 days to have the paperwork completed to make it by August 1st, and a letter going out to all the residents that have not connected yet with the timelines.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'll second that motion.
And we got a second. Do we have any questions? Proceed to vote. All in favor signify by word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Okay. Did you have anything under phase 2, or does this kind of covers it?
I think that covers it really for phase 2.
Dan, you didn't have anything for phase 2?
Just to keep in mind, if there's any, if there are properties that haven't connected and filed for reimbursement at the end of the connection period, when that's up, those leftover monies will be available for use by the district for remaining funds purposes. We'll have to submit another PER amendment to SRF to.
Dan, you might want to come to the mic. I think they
Right.
want you to be heard.
Yeah. So just to recap what I just said, if there's any leftover monies in the reimbursement totals due to people that haven't filed for a reimbursement, those are at the end of the period. Those will be available for the district to use as use of remaining funds for other purposes. For example, we put the mixed flush valves in the pump stations. We can use that money for that kind of thing again. We'll have to put together a PER amendment to submit to SRF to request the use of that, but
Okay.
those will come available.
So we will not lose, if there's any remaining funds, we won't lose them.
Not necessarily.
Giving them back. If
Yeah, you could
particular
apply for their use again.
organization, yeah.
Yes.
I remember, as I remember, they were very restricted, the uses, are correct?
Sorry?
The uses were quite restricted.
Yeah, they have some restrictions. Like they want it to go towards something that is directly involved with the daily operations of the district. So that's, kind of why they were okay with, and if you remember, they were okay with using that to kind of spruce up the lab building there at the Travel Plaza plant. But we decided to go a different route.
Okay, understood. You don't phase 2, or
Yeah, that's it.
you want to go into Hudson Saucony project timeline?
Yeah, sure. I'll keep it short and sweet today. Don't have a whole lot to go over. Just to go over project timeline, it's at the top of the project update memo that's in your board packets. We're currently on schedule to complete design in August of this year, submit permits the same month, receive bids in October, and anticipated best case project closing is February of 2024. Just to kind of jump over a couple of things in the memo, there are the proposed project contracts and items that are being pre-selected. I've kind of gone over those the last several meetings. Those are just there to kind of keep it fresh in your mind what exactly we're going to be looking at doing pre-selection on. Before I dive into each contract's work to date, I wanted to let you know that we are working with Steve Carter to, he ran some updated rate reports based on the updated costs, and we are looking at some different alternatives there, and we're working on scheduling a meeting with both State Revolving Fund and USDA to discuss potentially how this project's going to look going forward, whether we can get a larger grant commitment from SRF to try to push this all out in one phase, or if it's going to have to be the kind of thing where we got to stagger it out over 3 years. So Ken Jones is working directly with SRF and USDA to try to get that meeting set up.
I'm trying to get that meeting set up next week.
Oh, you are? Okay,
Yeah.
Great.
And I will need Marcella and probably John to attend that. So you'll be getting an email with possible dates for next week.
We discussed that in the engineering meeting.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yep. Yeah.
See, you guys are working and getting that.
Yeah, that's
meeting
good.
stage.
We had to wait until we had some numbers to actually.
And we also
Have
have some
discussions.
questions for the USDA side of things about how they're going to handle it, because they have some different requirements when it comes to procurement of materials on their projects. And in order for us to move forward with actually doing the pre-selection, we have to make sure that it's okay with USDA, because typically they require an upfront approval of the program where SRF doesn't. We've done it enough times with SRF that they know we know what we're doing, but USDA needs a little more oversight. So we'll have some questions about that for them too. That's the Build America Buy America Act program, if you guys are familiar with it. Okay, so in the last month, wastewater treatment plant project, we've established flows and loadings, and we're currently working on developing those pre-selection packages and continuing work on plant set production. I wanted to discuss, we kind of need to set another engineering committee meeting.
Waiting till we get through some of this.
Okay, all right. Okay, great.
The next couple weeks.
Preferably after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. With wastewater collection system, we've completed all hydraulic modeling on Saucony Lake and working on conducting our internal review of it. Continuing work on plan and profile alignment drawings for pressure sewers and force mains on Saucony Lake. I actually have a draft set on my desk for peer review, so I'll be digging into that here in the next couple of weeks and continuing work on finalizing Saucony Lake. And Hudson Lake is continuing to be worked on in this manner as well. Saucony's just a little farther along. We have gone into our master drawing and updated all grinder station locations per the adopted location policy that you guys accepted. I don't know if it was last meeting or 2 meetings ago. So now they're all laid out in accordance with that. So we're all 10 feet inside the property line, and we're sharing absolutely everywhere we can.
At some point, do we share that location with the property owner?
Yeah, we will. Essentially, how it's going to work is we'll send out easement packets to everybody in the service area, and they'll be invited. We'll hold some workshops, basically, kind of after hours, maybe 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, and the general public can come to these workshops. They can see our plans, see where their grinder stations are located, and we can, if it's more advantageous for them to move to the other side of their driveway, for example, or something like that, we can work through that stuff with them sitting directly right there. And we'll also
Process, you get some local knowledge.
Yeah.
That you don't pick up by a survey.
exactly, and we'll have a notary on staff where we can sign the easements right then and there, and so that'll probably be taking place sometime this summer and fall.
Yeah, we'll probably try to maybe do a Saturday too, in
Yep,
case there's
yeah.
like people that come up on weekends or something like that. We'll try to get the information out there to help.
Hard to get lake people.
Right, exactly.
I'd say this size of project will definitely have at least one Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we normally do, trying to get, help the people that come up weekends, that type of stuff.
Yep. So, anyway, only other item of note here is we're going to be hiring Terracon to conduct geotech services, so they'll be out and about running around drilling soil borings and putting a report together for us here in the next couple of months, and we expect to get those results back in about 7 to 8 weeks. So I expect to sign their contract today and get them rolling.
The public knows about that, right?
About what?
The public knows about
the
soil borings.
soil borings?
Yeah, I mean, because the reason why I'm mentioning that is other projects I'm working on, some soil borings, it stirs everybody up. And why is this person on,
I don't think they're gonna go on anyone's
They're
private
not gonna be
property
on
without,
property at all.
Yeah.
They're on the right of way?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I figured, but.
Well, as long as Mitch knows, and when he gets a call, you can just tell him what it's for, right?
yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
We'll direct all calls to Mitch. It's good.
The only sort of out of the ordinary location they're going to be at is they're going to collect borings along the toll road right of way through our easement.
Oh, okay.
So and they know that they have
That
to.
was the Toro gave to the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They know they've got to get the proper permitting and all that in order to do it. But
This
Sounds good.
stirs them all up, that's all.
We'll hand out flyers with your number on it, Mitch.
Okay.
so kind of finally, in process of developing our customer database and easement list. For Saugony, we have 201 out of 272 deeds acquired, and at Hudson, we have 245 out of 914. So overall, we have about 38% of deeds for the entire project.
Saugerty's pretty, that's good.
Okay.
Anything else? Any questions?
Appreciate all the work you're doing.
And Mitch, I have gotten calls from like highway department and different stuff, and I've given them information for the website. I've also told them they can direct calls directly to me with my cell number, and I can
You could throw some
take
out
calls.
to me too, I'll take some.
Yeah,
Give me my cell phone.
okay. I'm not opposed to it. That's what I do. So
Publish it on the district for all inquiries or questions.
yeah, and it's out there, and we'll set up a Hudson Saugony tab so that information on the project directly is right there. So we can try to keep, information updated as much as possible. But that way it takes away from other departments that don't have to try to answer repeated questions, and they can, send them my way or the website or something to help out.
Again, what John said, Dan, thanks for all your work.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
And looking forward to the meeting next week, because I think that's going to be
Yeah.
pretty pivotal.
Good.
Okay. With the SRF.
Oh, yeah, that.
Okay, SRF planning meeting. This was brought up. Mitch is supposed to be attending, so
Yeah, I
squared away, Mitch.
registered
You
for
did?
it tomorrow.
Okay.
Should be good.
Let me see you there. I think I have to represent LaPorte.
Can you represent two?
I wondered that too.
Well, try. You should be able to.
How many?
You wanna drive
Sign on
together?
the dotted line 3 times or something.
We could drive together, we could carpool.
Why not?
Okay, so we're good there. Executive committee. internal control policy, Barry's reviewing, preparing draft.
Yeah, I think Barry and I probably need to actually have a meeting anyway, so we can go over that and the easement letter and the easement agreement. If we, I'll just set us up a meeting so we can review some of these things before we even get to the executive committee meeting.
I would think I'll have a draft of the internal control policy before the next meeting, certainly.
Okay.
Okay. Not that it's horribly scintillating, but I mean, it's important to have. It sets some guidelines about, I mean, it is exactly what it sounds like, internal controls about whether it's payment of bills or, so it not exciting, but it's got to be there.
Yep. Today's world, you gotta have it. All right, moving on. Engineering Committee, April 2023.
Which we kind of already went over most of this.
Equipment for selection, first easement letters. Anything else to add on that? Okay, next meeting, May 23rd, in person and Zoom links. We'll have a pre-agenda meeting with the attendees, May 16th at 9 a.m. Verizon Bank meeting. So Marcy and myself attended a meeting there.
And
We talked about that last meeting?
we did talk about it the last meeting, but we also discussed that we may transfer some cash back.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Laptops and portal for board meeting packet documents. You got an update on that, Jennifer?
Yeah, the other program we found out we can pay annually at $17.99 a user per month.
A month?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it's not going to be cheap, but I think overall, it's more efficient. But if any of you use it at another platform, we don't have to buy that license again. So I don't know if anyone has any that they use. No?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you said about that. Can you re-explain that, please, about the platform?
Program though, is that what you're saying? It's a certain program that you use?
It's a program that we would use to download all these documents that I print and bring to you, which this month was obviously pretty light, so that was nice. But that's not going to be the case normally, and normally isn't. And so what I would do is I would send all of the documents to that portal or that program, and then you guys would bring your laptops, and then instead of filing through all this paperwork, you're just going to open them, and you're going to be able to review your documents on your laptop.
Basically, we'd have to buy the laptops or the smaller version. What do you have, John? What's that called?
A tablet.
Yeah, just like a tablet, and then we have to pay monthly for the program.
Correct.
Per person?
Well, we can per license per person. You can either pay it monthly, which if you do that, it's $19.99 a month, or you can pay it annually.
$19?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was in the weeds there. I thought you were talking about 1900.
No.
I was like,
That's 5 years from now.
Yeah. Open a new company.
But
Start.
also, I mean,
okay.
if any of you, like Marcy has her computer and stuff, if any of you have your own, this is also something you can put on your own computer and bring. We don't have to buy everybody new computers to carry around an additional computer. So
we're looking at worst case $140 a month for everybody on the board.
We do it annually, probably. 'Cause it's-
I would do it annually because that's what you're $17.99. But you're also going to probably need me. We're going to need Dan, Barry, people, Steve Carter, people that I need to have access. That if at some point they need to have documents or send it to me, you know what I mean, that can review and look at what we're talking about.
What's
Looking at 250 to 300.
Boardable.
Boardable? I want to do a little. I just want to look at it.
17.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great idea, and I think the time that it's going to save with you printing everything, putting everything together, and then us individually going through everything, the $250 a month is going to be, I think, money ahead for everybody. Productivity.
John, I agree, but $250 a month in today's dollars, but who knows what it's gonna be like.
Well, we can cancel at any
That's
time,
something we
right?
can look at.
Of course.
It's an annual contract.
Bottom line is, it's gonna help Jennifer to save her in the process, and
trees.
Well, and if you look at it, I spend sometimes, I don't know how many hours printing all this stuff. So I'm not going to be charging you
Yeah.
that time. So in the end, you could be making out.
I understand that. That's why I wanted to just bring it out.
Okay.
I agree with you. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that it was,
So-
that this is a money saver in general
Mm-hmm.
for the whole county.
Right.
I mean, if we want to look into it more or make approval
Yeah.
for a
I
certain
have,
month, not
our IT person has been checking it out. Because there's another one called Onboard, and that was the other one I brought to you last month. That was
Have they made a
4,000.
recommendation, or is this?
We would go with Boardable, this one that I just told you about. Because last month I think I told you it was like 4,000, and 1,000 of that was set up.
So for the next meeting, can we have a total cost on what it's gonna cost to do this for a year?
Because what's the tablet?
How many people?
Was that like $400 or what do those run now? I don't even know.
Yeah, if we'd probably have to buy tablets too, so
For those
Okay.
who need them.
Yeah,
I'll
I
get
can.
My own tablet thing.
I got one.
I was thinking I might.
And that was my question. You know, that's why I was saying some of you have your own. Do you want to just use that, or who needs a tablet or something? That was what I wanted to know.
Your projections, I will buy my own tablet.
Okay.
I probably would need some kind of specifications for
And-
IT.
Yes, and our JPR IT person will work with everybody, help you get set up. I'm gonna need more training in it myself because I'm gonna have to administer and download and do all this so that we can help all of you.
For us at the next meeting, that would really.
Yep.
Yeah, what I'd
And
like-
he would even come to and help you guys do a workshop or something like that as well.
Okay.
That way everybody would get an idea how to use it before we just jump into this.
And if you could figure out how much it'd be for everybody to have a tablet, just so we can
Yep.
approve the total cost, because things
Yep.
change. And then if Mark doesn't want one, if I don't want one, we can just say no, and then,
Absolutely.
no harm
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
You guys got anything else on that? Rate ordinance, commercial properties?
That's again something that one of the things Barry and I need to discuss and get you guys information on how to set that up.
Because right now, all the commercial properties are charged residential rate.
No. We're missing out.
We're missing out. And
We're missing out.
Well, there's two issues. There's the rate ordinance just needs to be updated,
Yeah.
period, to better reflect the reality of how we bill. The commercial properties, I mean, there is a provision for commercial properties being billed differently than residential properties. It's a question of doing it. And since we're going to start that, presumably, we may as well improve and make the ordinance better. So
Absolutely.
I think we just need to Jennifer will need to get me some ideas and some, because we've kind of had the same template that started even before I started, that was always driven by, I think, Sender and Company kind of was involved in the drafting of the original one in the Toll Plaza and Phase 2, I believe. So it'd be nice from Steve and JPR to get some other examples from other districts that have a similar
Yeah.
setup as we do. There's no need to reinvent the wheel.
They don't. I haven't seen anyone have a similar setup to what you mean.
Well, I mean,
Other communities?
yeah, I mean, other communities who have, I mean, we have kind of, well, depends. I guess you can just consolidate it under one rate ordinance, but we have the unique position of having one significant user in the toll plaza.
Right, and I
gets
would not
billed.
combine that.
Keep them
I would
separate,
keep them
distinct.
separate. I mean, you can still reference it, but they have their own. I would not mess with that one unless you need to down the road, but they are,
wait, you just mean like case studies of other districts and what,
No, I mean, we just need to get examples of other
Yeah,
of
we
other
have that.
ordinances.
what they pay?
we have that. Because you weren't here the last couple, but basically, Mark, the district's ordinance says commercial properties are based off, I think it's 175 gallons per day. However, there's no meter. There's no metered.
Right.
So for me to go back and try to figure out the base of how to charge these commercial properties, I need something solid to stand on. And so we need to have some kind of a EDU chart for our ordinance. And it also, if you technically even read our current one, you can't even figure out how to charge them because it references the previous one, and then that one references the one previous to that. So you have to have all three of them to even go back to figure out what that rate is to be charged. So I think in essence we kind of do need to create one solid one to start and have that complete.
Would it be unrealistic to ask to have some kind of information or draft by the next meeting, or is that just too much?
I don't see it being a problem. I guess that's up to Barry. I can provide examples that I've used for several districts with EDU charts and different stuff. And
just because if we're missing out,
well, I think I've got the easy part. So the only reason I would hedge that, Marcy, is much like most contracts, we just kind of pretty up the substance, right? Okay. We don't create the substance. So I will need input from Jennifer, JPR, Steve. I mean, I'm not a sewage expert and a billing expert. So I just need, look, how do you want to do this? This is what, Kuntz Lake, theirs is great. That's exactly what we want to do.
Yeah.
Then that gives me what I need. So as long as I have the time we can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I think we need to have a meeting and go over all these things between the two of us of what we need to get moving and get pushing forward.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm not even gonna say anything.
Any other comments under the rate ordinance? Moving on to old business, Whisper Isle subdivision cost estimate and study engineering committee. I have been working with the subdivision, but identifying some problems, so no update this meeting, but hopefully if we don't have anything figured out by the next meeting, then we'll just take action to get rid of it. Mechanic Street property,
That's what we
already talked about earlier. That's her. We need to make,
I think that was a previous.
That's a different one.
It is.
Yeah, we
But-
need to address on that one, maybe add both of them there, huh?
what was,
So that's a
Denise's-
different address?
That's the one that was in phase one that has a connection issue.
oh,
That will we already addressed that.
They're wanting to see if we have any funds left to put in a grinder.
Mention it today.
mention what? Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
No,
I was going to ask Jennifer, what for the prior Mechanic Street problem, is there a specific ask of the board or a dollar amount request of the board?
At a previous meeting. Because
What, you gotta refresh my memory.
what I think the other property wanted is they wanted another,
Can you come up?
yeah,
I think what the other property owner on Mechanic Street wanted is they wanted another lateral installed.
Oh,
They wanted their lateral relocated, and we determined that we'd have to cut the road.
yes.
And-
Remember that.
And I thought we determined we weren't going to do that. That we were able to do that kind of thing when the project was going on.
Sure.
But now it creates an undue financial burden on the district in order to make that work.
Okay.
And it's in,
I may be
and it's-
wrong,
It's
though.
in phase one.
Sounds right.
No, it wasn't a phase one property. That was there's a lot of Mechanic Street properties.
Property in phase one from the rear, and we served them too shallow for them to connect to, so they need a grinder pump. Then we came by the front of the house in phase two, and we didn't have that information in phase two, and didn't provide them a tap.
That's what it was. Thank you, Jerry.
So
Good memory.
are they connected?
No.
They're not. I mean, is the
The issue is on phase one, it was optional. And so because they were having issues and they couldn't get connected, their property owners saying they don't have to connect, and we're told they did not have to connect. Even though phase two, we sent out everything saying now it is mandatory, you do have to connect. The property owner didn't get with us to discuss any of this at that time.
but we also didn't provide in phase two.
Well, we wouldn't have because there was already a connection.
Right. So I'm just saying, I don't know that we're on 100% solid ground. If we didn't provide a connection in phase two, it sounds like it's a phase one property.
Correct.
But But
There was-
couldn't they do the grinder pump solution in phase and go the original route? Is that not an option? And is that not a much?
It is an option.
Isn't it the same as
It's exactly the same.
as her situation?
Correct.
So that's what I mean. If
Essentially, with
it's
this,
essentially a phase one issue, we don't have funds for that.
Correct.
correct.
But phase 2 came across the front of the property.
They had the option to hook up, right? That's why they didn't in phase 1.
Yeah.
Phase
Correct.
1.
And they still do. They still have a phase 1 tap.
But all property owners in phase 1 became mandatory
Right.
and received that information by mail several times.
We need to be careful because these phase 1 and phase 2 distinctions are gonna fade with time. We need to treat people.
Yeah. I mean, until the reimbursement period's over,
Right.
we have to treat them separately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got phase 2. They got a lateral running right the front of their home now.
No, they had a main run in front of their house in phase 2, but they had their lateral initially installed for their service as part of phase 1.
Okay.
So there was no lateral provided to this homeowner as part of phase 2 because they already have one.
So in order for us to provide a lateral, what's that going to take?
That I discussed that at a previous meeting. That would require cutting the road in order to make a lateral connection. And I think we shot that down.
And from I mean, again, for a layperson, from a functionality standpoint, is the original option perfectly acceptable, perfectly functional, serves the house?
Yes. That homeowner would just have to put in an ejector pit.
In their home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I guess for the sake of the agenda, if we're not taking any action and we're not going to take any action, and that's up to the board to take, you know, I suppose the board could make a motion to throw them into phase 2 and allow them to be subject to the reimbursement if you want. That may be.
But then
I mean,
do the phase 2 connection, right? Not the phase 1.
Probably, that's true. Probably true. So my point is, if we're not going to take any action, we just ought to take it off the agenda.
And I'm fine with that. I was just told to leave it on there for,
Okay.
Yeah.
so I did.
I'm trying to make your life easier. One less
And
agenda
I
item.
love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
We can't include them as part of phase 2 for reimbursement. We don't
Okay.
have the funds
Well,
for it.
Yeah.
Right.
We'd be short 1,000
Yeah.
if everybody, yeah.
Okay.
We
Okay.
only had it budgeted for just the phase 2 customers for
Right.
All
reimbursement.
right, going forward, like if Mechanic Street, can we put addresses down? Denise, what is the address of your property?
108.
108?
Yeah, I had it.
And even, I think her situation doesn't probably need to be on the agenda because she's going to be, we've extended the eligibility time
Yeah.
for reimbursement. So theoretically, the additional cost to put in the agenda, whether it covers it dollar for dollar, it sounds like it's going to cover a fair amount of it and she'd be eligible for the reimbursement. So I mean, by extending your time period, you essentially addressed her concern.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Okay, moving on. That's the last thing on the agenda. Marcy did have something she wanted to bring up. Probably should have brought it up.
Early, yeah. We're going to, I spoke with council, LaPorte County Council, and we're going to put on a workshop. So I'm going to get in touch with Ken and see if he's available. We're going to do that in May and present to council, you know, on the project and hoping they might be able to financially help us out somewhat. So we don't know for sure, but we do think it's best to bring it to council's knowledge, you know, about the project and so forth.
And one thing we considered, you know, we got that loan from the county.
Yeah.
Is there any way to find out the balance of that loan?
Yeah, Steve and I should be able to pull that together because I have a spreadsheet that was started and then we can put together what's been paid.
That'll be good to know as well.
Because I think they're looking at, like, what did I tell you, John, May 23rd? May 22nd or 23rd, putting together a workshop. So I'm going to email Ken and I'll CC you on it, Jennifer, as well.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anything else under old business or to bring up?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned, 9:55 a.m.